Welcome back to Ethereans community, guys. As usual, it's Stefano
And Rudy.
and we're really happy to see you. OS token is finally here. Version 0.5 is literally around the corner and we're super excited about it. In today's video, we're going to cover the development update that the EthOS team has given this week. Stay with us. So just as a little recap for those that haven't been following us so far, EthreansOS, or EthOS as they're shortening it now, is designed to be the most powerful general purpose platform to host, build code and govern protocols, which is what these guys have been working towards over the last couple of years.
On top of Ethereum, exactly. So the other day, the switch happened. So now you can convert your Unifi, Buidl or Arte into EthOS. You're gonna find out the link for the switch in our description. So go down there and go take a look and switch your tokens. Obviously the switch is gonna stay there forever. You can switch anytime. And what happened? Nothing. Basically on block 130555555, EthOS board. So now it's there, it's out there, okay? So at the same time, they launched the farming for EthOS without inflation. How? They discovered around 20K of EthOS that they were coming from Unifi, Buidl or Arte on lost transactions and some other, let's say,
Lost wallets
as well. So they were just there. They decided to give this 20K of EthOS that they are already in the initial supply. Okay, so there will be no. That's why there will be not any inflation on EthOS. It will be a farming with a great reward for 4 months. Okay, so approx 4x they said. What will be
I think you'll find that if you've been farming before, you'll notice that the APY is going to be a lot more attractive because there is this extra allocation that
yes,
it wasn't forecasted for previously, right?
Yeah, so the farming is the same as before, so you will have a reward on your staked farmed Ethereum and EthOS, so you will have approx the ratio 1:1, so and plus a reward with the fees, okay, for the fee. So nothing basically changed on that. So the cool thing is the switch is on and the farming is on too.
Yeah, and just to be clear as well, the old farming contract is still open,
Yep.
right? So you can still also farm in there, and as I said, if you are looking to keep your Unifi, Buidl and Arte, you can still do that, but you might as well switch it to OS, right?
Yep. Right now the price is around being a range from 25 to 31, so it's swinging a little bit, but it looks
Yeah, the
pretty
really
cool.
good start actually, yeah.
Yeah.
So now let's talk about this release, right? There are several things that are going to be upgraded from where we're standing now, and also some new introductions, okay? The main components, okay, what we're going to cover are basically the launch of item version 2, which has been highly expected, organization 0.5, and then delegations, okay? So starting from item v2, for those that are already familiar with item v1, you will know that it's very well known for the fact that you can make interoperable objects,
Yep.
okay, which can be used either as either ERC20 tokens or ERC1155.
Yep.
They are extendable, which means that they're very secure and allow you to build any type of dApp on top. And then finally, they're also upgradable. But why is it that version 2 is so much more advanced? Okay, there are several things in there. The key to major implementations
Yep.
are what they call the dynamic on-chain metadata, which is a mouthful. It's quite wordy, but basically it allows you to create any item using the metadata from existing one. So
like an example.
If you want to make an example.
Yeah, like they did in the video. So they imagine a sword, okay, like a regular sword. And then if you decide to craft it, so basically just to keep it as simple as possible, if you want to have a different sword with different capabilities, you can improve it by crafting it and use it while gaming. So imagine to create your own sword on the different platforms that you're using for gaming. So in different games. Obviously there will be some rendering, they also adaptations, right. Obviously. So, but they build the standard to do it. So you will be able to improve your items that they're using during your for your games during basically the years or months or days that you're using the item. So it's pretty cool. It's something that is changing as you keep on playing.
Cool. Yeah, because imagine like, for example, being passionate about a particular game and having all these cool objects and items in that game, and then wanting to, you know, move to another game and ideally import some of these features that you already have. Like, so that's like quite of a game changer, right?
Yeah, Vaza also made a nice joke, a funny joke regarding the sword becoming like a spoon, you know, like a mom spoon or something like that.
Big Mama or something.
Yeah, but it was really cool. Just to, so you can really do anything. You can implement your item as you keep on playing and also growing yourself and the game.
And then the second major implementation is what they call batching, which essentially means that you can do batch transfers instead of doing from single collection to single collection. That basically allows you to do everything via a single transaction.
Yeah, it will be, so the costs will change.
Yeah.
Right? So that's another big thing.
That's right.
That's nice.
And then organization 0.5.
Yeah, organization 0.5. So this is the hardest part for us, but basically what we understood, just imagine a factory, okay? So before, they were like, they built a two-way governance where people can vote securely into fixed things, and the coders can deploy these fixed sub-DAOs where basically people can vote. So there were like these two different layers from what we understood. Now, with organization 0.5, they develop three different layers. Okay, they call the first one host only. So they're basically they call it. Sorry, I have to take a look because it's quite difficult. Host only. So the root layer. So basically the final check, if everything is ready, okay, ready to go, you can do it, okay, we can do it, we can develop it, we can launch it. And the second layer, where there's the interaction with the host and the holders. And they call it the update layer, okay? So that's really the connection point between these two realities. And the third layer is holders only, okay? And they call it the governance layer. So we really like the example that Ale made. So it's the people of the voice versus the big companies. So you can, you as a holder, you can raise your voice and make the companies hear you, okay? So this is really important because it becomes as a basic layer for coding and building on top of Ethereums, okay? And it will give you the possibility to really see how the factors of the organizations are working inside them, how they will hold, basically you as a holder, you will have a full transparency and see things, how the things are going inside the organization, okay? So one last, let's say, gut feeler, if you can call it that way. They said that in the future there will be a major update. Okay, from what I understood, there will be like a gut feeler between the on-chain organization and the real and the organization on the real world. What does that mean? We will discover in the future. But it really look really cool, if you can say it that way. So basically is what everybody's expecting, right?
Yeah, and also just to reiterate what's really important about this organization 0.5 is that, just to simplify it, essentially they've created some basic layers of security which allow essentially people to be able to clone existing parts of code
Exactly.
for a particular type of application without having to write them from scratch. Okay, but the cool thing is that you can clone them, but they're also editable to some extent. What that does is essentially removes a very common issue where, for example, a coder maybe intentionally corrupt the code by adding like a little piece in there with, for example, a bug that doesn't get noticed, and then he ends up having a major implication into the wider code. So because you are within the EthreansOS ecosystem now, that gives you like a sense of security that whatever pieces you are cloning, they already sound checked. And they don't have any type of issues or corruption within them. Right?
So there will be cloning of factories on factories. Okay. So as Rudy said, you don't have to start from scratch. There is a basic layer. There's a basic structure that is for sure that is working because it's inside the EthOS.
I think that we can call them editable templates.
Exactly.
Right. That would be the best way to sort of describe it. Okay?
So if you imagine factories built on top of factories, and these three new layers, as we said, that they called it the granular, governance, and permissions. Okay, those are the three layers that I told you before. This is it's easily to see how they connect together. Okay, inside this huge project. Exactly. That's the thing.
So after we've covered items version 2, organization 0.5, and then the third major implementation is actually the launch of Delegations, which is basically like brand new features. Delegations you may already be familiar with from our last video, where we talked about actual Ethereum community working towards potentially becoming a delegation within the EthOS ecosystem. The cool thing about delegation is that anyone can create one, and you can also attach them across multiple organizations, right? So you're not limited to potentially just being within EthOS. You can also attach to other DFOs.
Exactly.
Okay. Now
it's really horizontal.
Exactly.
You can get connected with each one of them.
So in an essence, with delegation, if you are an existing OS token holder, what you can do is identify a delegation or project like ours, for example, that you may think that is a project that has got scope, that is got longevity, but most importantly, that is helping the EthOS ecosystem move forward. You can therefore block some OS tokens onto the project for an undetermined period of time, and these, just to be clear, they are redeemable at any point.
Just a vote.
Yeah, and you will get exactly your OS tokens back whenever you wanna stop holding in there. But while you're in there, it will actually give you some decision-making power, because as part of the delegations, of course, each delegation will have a mission. They will have objectives. Those objectives may, for example, involve the need of some funding, to be able to do X, Y, and Z. So an example of the sort of thing that users and supporters can vote on is the direction of where these funds are being allocated.
Exactly. So it's really looking. It's looking really interesting.
And you can see if you watch back the video from this week, you will notice that the guys feel really strongly about this particular component of the upgrade, and they think that this is basically, one of the things that they're going to be promoting the most, and it's going to be a very essential component of this ecosystem.
And last,
finally, sort of they wanted to, in the video, they wanted to make sure that people understood sort of the timelines that they've been working towards, right? We know that this version 0.5 has been talked about for quite some times. You know, perhaps some people felt that it was overdue. It was supposed to be released a little earlier, and it could have easily been done. I mean, certainly the guys could have launched some individual components of the offering that we just talked about, but in reality, in true fashion of this team, we've already realized that they are very perfectionists, and they wanted to make sure that when they do go live, they can go live with a full stack of offering that they've always been talking about. So
yeah, they want to have like the full box.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
not an empty box
Exactly.
that you will fill, they will fill up in the future.
So they actually are 3 months ahead of schedule in terms of completing all the different pieces of the puzzle that make up EthOS 0.5. And this way we're going live, and we're going to have item version 2, we're going to have organization 0.5, and we're going to have delegations. And of course the guys in the back are also working towards some new
And remember,
regulations.
EthOS, because the switch happened. So
Exactly.
we have the new token.
Yeah, so that is actually already live, as we said earlier on.
Yeah.
And just to
It's a bunch of
recap,
stuff.
if you haven't done your switch yet, we're going to put a link in the video description where you can do that. Okay.
Exactly.
So this is really it for the video. I hope it was quite informative. There were a lot of technicalities, you know. So hopefully, as we go ahead in the future, we're going to be able to sort of, you know, look back at some of the things that we covered and give you a little bit more depth in a more simplistic way about each individual components. But for now, thank you very much for staying tuned.
Thank you, guys.
If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, you can do that by pressing the red subscribe button. Please remember to also click on the little bell, which will alert you when our next videos are out. And you can also follow us across all the main social media, including Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. We also have a section on the Discord channel, so if you haven't joined the Discord channel, please get in contact with the admin team there. I'm sure they will be happy to welcome you on board. And until we come up with some updates, thank you very much for staying tuned, and we'll see you next time.
Stay with us.